I love my beautiful wife.
Hello everyone, welcome to whatever the name of this series is. I still have not figured it out by the time of this recording, so it'll be in the title, you'll all love it. This will be, I think, the third in the series. Time is weird. Today I'm joined by my good farmer friend, Gadda. Gadda, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Farmer Gadda. I am a content creator who wears many hats, so I use the umbrella term to kind of cover them all. I am a Twitch streamer. I am a TTRPG designer and writer. I've published a couple of games under my belt. I am a cake decorator and a chicken tender, and I love my beautiful wife, so I'm a wife guy as well. Lots of hats.
Try guys, eat your heart out. We'll weave in and out of the interview phase as we weave in and out of the kart racing phase, because I've come to realize that although this is probably the third in this series, this is the first that I'm actually getting to record, and I'm realizing
the best for last.
Well, not last, because I'm gonna do more after you.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're saving the best to last, and so I'm the first one.
Oh.
That was self-deprecating, Raggles.
Don't yourself on interview, Gadda.
That is
say
true.
On stream.
That is very true.
See, the joke was that self-deprecation sounds like self-defecation.
Oh.
So, question one. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? Who are you on screen, off screen? Who is the Farmer Gadda?
Who is Farmer Gadda? That's a very good question. Well, I've already mentioned all of my various accolades. I am a fairly creative individual who also has rampant ADHD, so I do a bunch of stuff. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none kind of guy. I am very fond of storytelling. I love telling stories. I love mediums that allow me to invent stories to tell other people. Finishing the stories is where I have a problem, but that's neither here nor there. And as I aged into high school, I was introduced to the internet. I learned how to do sprite comics. I was very big into pixel art for a time. And basically I just kind of hopped from genre and genre to medium and medium to find ways to tell stories that I was interested in telling at the time. And currently, that has dropped me into the seat of indie tabletop role-playing games and being a Vtuber and streaming on Twitch.
I really like getting to hear about your backstory because, selfishly, I feel like it relates a lot to mine.
How dare you relate to me on a personal level, Raglan? I can't believe you've done this.
I chose the wrong thing.
You chose Baby Park. You're trying my strat. Don't give us Baby Park. Don't give us Baby Park. Okay, phew.
I was trying to pick the Animal Crossing stage again. It has chosen your stage, your track 3 times in a row.
I actually believe there is like I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but like there's like a known strat where you can like guess 90% of the time where the computer will choose based on how many players are in your lobby. What? It's an issue that came passed over from the previous Mario Kart. They didn't fix it. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hello. Goodbye.
What? Did I actually banana you?
No, I red shelled you, and then I think your banana stopped it.
The millisecond that I pulled the banana out, it disappeared on me.
Yeah, it was my red shell hitting it, I think.
That's amazing, actually. I got second. That's fine.
So you are in the TTRPG space as a creator, as a designer as well. How do you want to help shape the future of the TTRPG community? Break
my friends, my immediate players, out of this mindset of system matters, and this is going to be triggering for a lot of designers who may be listening to this to hear me bring up system matters. Like, oh no, it's a big specter that I won't necessarily get into. But I'm at a place in my design philosophy where I'm realizing that the actual mechanical uses of the one time it chooses you, I swear to God. The actual mechanical uses of large 200-page systems are really just like 10 to 20 smaller subsystems stacked in a trench coat, and allowing someone to drop in and out of those little subsystem designs means that no matter what game you're playing, you can tailor-make the experience to your table. I play with a lot of people who have a lot of experience with the dreaded 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and not to get into a rant on it, but the design philosophy of D&D, as it does have a monopoly on the market, means that the people in my direct circle still play other games as though they are D&D. And my immediate goal, with some projects that I'm actually planning on releasing in January, I'm not sure when this video comes out, but maybe it's already out, who knows, is to start introducing smaller subsystems, smaller digestible subsystems, that can be drag and dropped into any larger system to customize that game experience without needing to fully understand how to do, like, important homebrew yourself. The larger answer is more difficult simply because I don't believe in a quote-unquote larger TTRPG community. I have an entire thing about hashtag TTRPG family. It's kind of a parasocial thing on like Twitter and Tumblr that I feel is more dangerous than it's worth. Oop, someone just hit me with a piranha plant.
As they do.
So I don't really have any ideas for how to help the larger TTRPG community because it's not a single overarching community that everyone agrees on. It's, again, a bunch of much smaller sections kind of tied together and trying to appease or depend on the support of an imagined larger community, like an over-community, is just a very quick way to either get yourself scammed or disappointed. A lot of the social dynamics on TTRPG Twitter when it comes to like the hashtag TTRPG fam is, I don't want to say abusive, but it's not great. Whenever you have any sort of community that is pretending to be or using the language of family, be it people who play role-playing games or a larger corporation like Walmart trying to insist you're not workers, you're family.
Yeah. Oof,
it's so easy for people to use that to then harm other people. And unlike Walmart, where the goal is making money, well, actually no, like Walmart, where the goal is making money, a lot of the abuse comes from the fact that TTRPGs are also sold as products, and people will tie their identities to their experience with a game, making characters. They'll attribute the corporations or the people who are profiting off of those experiences, which then opens them up to abuse.
I think the only exception to that rule is the Fast and Furious community. They can say family. They're allowed.
They can say family, but it's more of a meme than anything. That actually kind of segues into one of the other questions you had about responsibility. Are you cool if I take the reins and like say we're talking about that now? Yeah.
Farmer Gadda, take the wheel. Oh no, I'm going off course. Oh god, gotta get me the wheel back.
No. I saw that happen right in front of me. When you commit to the bit.
Right over the
come on!
Did you get hit by the blue shell?
I did get hit by the blue shell.
What's really funny is that happened as I was doing that bit, and it was not intentional.
I am very big on personal responsibility as a content creator. When you are curating a space, be it for friendly friend stuff or for a product, which on some level, Farmer Gadda is a product I am trying to sell, you know? It is incredibly important that you be aware of the power dynamics between you and your audience. A lot of creators, in plenty of spaces, not just like VTubing or TTRPGs, leans very heavily into the I am your friend, I am your confidant, I am someone you can depend on and trust. Not maliciously, but because that's what people are buying. That's what people want. People want to feel comfortable with the content they consume. But unfortunately, with YouTube and Twitch, there tends to be a misunderstanding of where the boundaries are, because that that parasocial relationship is almost entirely one-sided. Someone can spend all their formative years watching Markiplier and having Markiplier's content be a massive part of their life, but Markiplier isn't looking at a screen back at that audience. He's looking into a camera. The parasocial relationship is only one way, and a lot of people, well, I don't even call Mark out specifically, but I've seen a lot of people... Insert content creator here. And that can lead to some very uncomfortable realities, especially if the content creator does something to disappoint their audience. I meant that for the Daisy in front. I'm very sorry it hit you instead. I'm
also very sorry that it hit me instead. I killed a snowman out of rage.
No! What did the snowman do to you?
Be a projection of my anger.
Wow. That is unhealthy.
Nope.
But also...
being hit by a shell, by the way.
It ties back into my, my previous statement. People project onto the creators they enjoy, and when the reality of that person doesn't match up with the perception, it can lead to some very unhealthy reactions from both sides of the equation, both the creator and the audience watching them. So when it comes to responsibility in creating a community, I try to be very upfront with my audience, like, yes, you are having a good time laughing at my jokes, and I am sharing parts of my life, and that is the content, right? Thank you for that.
That was the content. You're right.
That was the content, yes. But there's also a limit to that. I am a thing being sold to you, but I would not actually come to your house for Thanksgiving dinner, if that makes sense. Like, you can be genuine. People tend to think of persona as like an inaccurate mask that you wear, like if you have a persona that you're lying to people somehow. But when you're a content creator on Twitch or like a VTuber and you're not playing a scripted character, the persona you're putting up is just a limitation. Like, there are facets of me as a person, because I am a multifaceted individual, that I would only share with people who are in my immediate life. Like, I'm pretty open about my day-to-day, but there's still stuff that I would never say on the air, because that's not part of the Farmer Gadda persona. No one comes to ask how the calluses on my feet are doing. Well, if they do ask that, that's an upcharge. But, like, there's bits of my human experience that I do not include in the persona, but the persona is still built of my human experiences. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
So when you are creating a community around that persona, you need to not only have the distance you need, have the boundaries in place to protect yourself and your audience, you also have to be aware of what your audience expects and how to keep the audience safe.
The nearest question to, I think, this all, to me at least, what was your motivation for streaming when starting out, and has that changed?
Well, let me ask you this, just to clarify. Do you want my motivation for streaming specifically, or for the kinds of content that I currently create?
Why not both? Let's start with, for streaming specifically, why choose the medium of streaming, and has that motivation changed? And then, what motivated you to do the content I create, and has that changed?
The short answer for why I chose to be a Twitch streamer in particular. I didn't start being a VTuber. The VTuber thing was actually a joke back when VTubers first started getting really, really popular. Originally, so I am a cake decorator. I worked as a professional cake decorator, not as cool as it sounds, in a department store. So like a Walmart adjacent kind of scenario, right? I did cake decorating there for about 3 or 4 years before I moved down to Florida to be with my beautiful wife. We were long distance at the time. And it was something that I enjoyed doing as a job. I enjoyed being a cake decorator, but it wasn't something that I wanted to continue in my new life in Florida, so I did not do that for my day job anymore. But I still had the skills and the training and the itch to decorate, but I had never tried baking. Baking was not something that I knew. So I told myself I want to continue to profit off of my cake decorating skills, but I don't want to get a day job in a bakery. So I set up a little bit of a storefront, and I said, I'm going to teach myself how to bake cakes and then try and sell them as a little extra side income. The problem was that with my rampant ADHD, I was having a hard time committing to the goals that I was setting for myself, but eventually the cost of all the cake materials, it added up very quickly. So switching over to VTubing actually worked out really well, because not a lot of people will think to themselves, I want to go on Twitch and watch someone bake a cake, but plenty of people will go, I want to go on Twitch and watch some anime dude play Mario badly.
And it circles back to what you said earlier, like, we are the products.
Yes.
Like,
we are the products, but the product is, this is a person who is going to be genuine with what they share with me, as opposed to, I am getting all of this person 100% of the time.
Yeah. So the content you make, what was originally the motivation behind it, and has it changed? What was your motivation for streaming when starting out, and has that changed?
I will not name names, but I mostly produce the content that I do now out of spite.
Which is always the best motivator, I feel.
Yeah, no.
Not the healthiest, but it's the best.
No, it is not. When I was younger, there was a content creator that I looked up to very, very much. I was under no illusions that the relationship was anything more than parasocial, but it was my first experience with a content creator personally disappointing me in a way. I mean, if you've followed the Minecraft space at all, I mean, take your pick. There has been enough people being revealed to be sex pests that it's not really... It's more of a known thing about Minecraft now. You can't throw a stick without hitting a sex pest these days, which is terrifying, but... There was a creator that I greatly looked up to, and I followed their work for years, and then when it came out that they had done terrible things to people and hurt people, I was personally very gutted. The content they made was unlike anything else that existed on the platform at the time. So I went from having something that I really enjoyed to having the only source of that something be forever tarnished by knowing what this person had done. And when I first started doing VTubing stuff, which again was a joke, my community, I laughed like, yeah, everyone's being a VTuber these days, maybe I should give it a go, huh? And my audience actually said, you know what, I think you'd be a great VTuber, actually. I'm like, oh, okay. So I gave it... get fucked. So when I started, like, seriously looking into what content I wanted to make for the new direction of my channel, I was like, well, what do I like? What do I like existing in the world that I can create? And it occurred to me, like, oh, I can just do the stuff that that person did, but I just won't do anything illegal to ruin it, you know? Obviously, now we live in a world where we have a lot of content that replicates what I enjoyed about that previous creator. So I'm big into Hermitcraft, I'm big into Empire's SMP. There's the mind blur part of the fandom has definitely... I'm not going hungry for the content that I like, but I still feel there's merit in me putting my own spin on it and putting that content out into the world for maybe somebody else to enjoy. I'm gonna see if I can't get one of the DLC cups. You can play the DLC cups without having, like, access to DLC, right?
Not only do I own all the DLC cups, the track we were just on was the DLC cup track.
Was it really?
Yep.
I didn't actually know that.
So we talked a little bit earlier about your experience creating and how it evolved over time. And on a similar note, how do you feel about internet discourse now compared to 10, 20 years ago?
Are you implying that I was on the internet 20 years ago?
I was on the internet 20 years ago.
Because you were correct. I just really hate that you put it like that. Fuck off. Actually, the very first time I ever used a computer, and I know this because of how specific the date was, the very first time I ever used the internet on a computer was the day of my 10th birthday.
Huh.
So 20 years ago, I'll have coming up like next week from this recording, I'll have been a user of the internet for exactly 21 years.
Damn. Also,
Which
happy
is
birthday.
Thank you. I don't feel like it's cause for celebration when put into this specific context. I just feel old.
Damn.
To actually answer the question, the internet has changed immensely over the last 5 years alone, much less the last 10 or 20.
Actually, really, honestly, if you want to start with just the last 5 years, I feel like, yeah.
Part of me has feels like it's really hard to call it the internet anymore. Simply as the internet has no longer become like the World Wide Web. It's now the same like 5 services that regurgitate content back and forth.
Yeah.
And there's nothing inherently wrong with those services individually, but based on compared to the internet that I grew up with, it is so much more limited and so much more focused on squeezing a profit out of people that it's difficult to even compare them. One of the things you talked about way back earlier in our interview here was about how like Smack Jeeves was a combination of a bunch of websites you didn't use. It had like DeviantArt vibes, it had like fanfiction.net vibes. But I was thinking actually Smack Jeeves was more like the end result of places like Newgrounds and Something Awful forums. Places that still kind of exist, but like even you don't think to reference them. It's all kind of homogenized into this handful of services, and mostly I use them to sell shit to people now. Like, I watch people on Twitch occasionally, but even when I'm watching someone, it's under the guise of, what does this person do that I could incorporate into my streams, into my product, to make it better for my audience? Like, the aim is much, much different. Whereas back in the Smack Jeeves days, it was, what could I make that would be fun for my friends, right? Now it's more like everything is commodified. And that's not really just the internet, it's just late-stage capitalism in general. But it's just really interesting to really stop and think about what was the internet like during my formative years versus like what are the teenagers who are on Twitter and TikTok experiencing now. It's a very, very, very different internet.
I knew of like if I say the grossest video on the internet, you know what I'm talking about. It's probably not actually the grossest video. The grossest popular video on the internet.
Yes.
I knew about that as a child.
In the comments, write down what you think the grossest video on the internet is to date yourself.
Oh, true. And I like some of the ways it's changed. Like, the fact that I can go on YouTube reliably and be like, oh, there's an interesting video. Thanks, algorithm. That is pretty nice. Like, it's different from the days where, I don't know, it's like a give and take, because there is something I think magical about everyone knowing about like the viral video for the next few months. Like, everyone is quoting Charlie the Unicorn, everyone is quoting ASDF, because like they're the only options. Like, that's all you get. It's like it's like Charlie Brown like TV specials, or like the Wizard of Oz.
Right. There is such a massive overweight of content now that unless you are in a very specific circle, or you've gone out of your way to make sure that everyone you care about has seen the same stuff you've seen, there's something lost. It's actually very much like the I like your shoelaces thing from Tumblr, right?
I don't know. I don't use Tumblr.
Oh, okay. So back in like 2012, people who are listening to this who know are like cringing hard. There was an unironic push to have a secret code word so that in public you could let people know that you're a cool Tumblr person too. You're on the Tumbly twos. And the quote was, if you saw someone who you thought might be from Tumblr, you would tell them, I like your shoelaces. And if you were told that they like your shoelaces, to let them know that you are correct, I am a Tumblr person, you were to say, thanks, I stole them from the president. And that was like a site-wide thing that everyone just knew. I have never successfully told someone I like their shoelaces, but I have had someone say, thanks, I stole them from the president in an unshoelace involved, like, scenario, so I know where you've been. I know what you've seen.
That's hilarious.
But, like, the language that people use around media as, like, a signifier and to share these experiences, like, the larger the internet gets, the harder it is to reliably have those phrases. Algorithms help bridge that gap by making sure that people with the same interests see the same stuff. And that is nice. I do like being magically told, hey, if you like this, you'll also like this. But then, again, late-stage capitalism, 9 times out of 10, that is just used to sell me things, as opposed to actually making me have a better experience on the internet.
Oh, you had 3 red shells, didn't you?
No, I got 2 1s in a row.
God damn it. Gadda. Here's a softball.
Oh boy.
What are some of your favorite games?
What are some of my favorite games? I'm gonna assume this means video games, but I'll also say TTRPGs, simply because I can. How's that?
Sounds good.
My favorite games, well, Minecraft kind of is at the top of the list, while also not being on the list at all. Because Minecraft is more of a tool for me for storytelling between various mods and various, like, servers and contexts. So, like, it's, like, my favorite game of all time, but also it's not really fair to put it on a list with all my other favorite games. So, give that a special platinum spot at the top, if you will.
Gotcha.
My favoriteest game of all time, which you may already know, is Paper Mario 64. I just absolutely adore that one game in particular. It's probably the autism, but it just, it sings to me. I am actually on, and I have kept count, the 22nd straight playthrough.
Oh my goodness.
I play it from start to finish at least twice a year.
Oh my goodness.
And I have ever since, well, for the last 7 years. So 22 times in the last 7 years, which is when I first got access to it reliably. I actually was unable to play it when it initially released on the N64. I have only briefly played it on official hardware. It's always been the online eShops for me. I currently have it on Wii, Wii U, and Switch, so I am not spoiled for choice.
How did you land on Farmer Gadda? You can interpret that as your username or your overall persona.
I'll start with the username, because the persona question is, like, not that interesting, actually. So, originally, going all the way back to my 10th birthday, the first time I used the internet was to make a Neopets account. That was, that was the deep origin of me. It was my 10th birthday. I was staying at my aunt's house, and she had access to dial-up internet. So I was like, oh, I want to play that game that I saw in the magazine with the animals and stuff, and that was Neopets. And at that time, it allowed you to make a pet before you made an account, as sort of like you've gone through the making a pet process. If you want to keep your pet, you got to give us your email, you know, like a, kind of a marketing dealio. So I had made a blue Kugra. And I, being 10, living in a predominantly white area in Maine, which is predominantly white even to this day, I decided that I would name my cat something in Spanish. I did not know Spanish. I did not know Spanish, but I did know that the word for cat was gato, and the word for friend was amigo. So I decided I would name her Gato Amigo. However, I was 10 and couldn't type, so I typoed the fucking word into Gatamigo. And that was my online handle from the age of 10 to, I want to say, 22. Eventually, when I started getting into the idea of making content more professionally, before Coop Cakes, actually, before the Twitch or anything. I was like, well, everyone calls it Gadda anyway, and I would like to stop getting so many emails propositioning me in Portuguese. So maybe I'll just switch it to the phonetic pronunciation and drop the migo bit. So Gata Migo became Gadda, and that's what I've used as my online name to this day. The farmer bit was more me being genuine. The content that I was making was very much about me and my, like, homesteading life. The stories that I told while baking cakes was primarily how my chickens were doing, the plants I was trying to grow, just the homestead, farmstead stuff. That the farmer bit really kind of became part of my overall persona. Even though I do not currently have a flock of chickens, it's still very much a large part of my life. So I just kind of lean into it.
Gadda, what inspires you to do what you do?
I take inspiration from a lot of things. If you look at the games that I've written, they're all mostly genre emulations. Things that I like. If you look at the content that I make on my channel, it's usually me going off about something that I really enjoy or really hate, and the need to share those experiences with the people who watch me. So it's less that I am taking a specific inspiration for my content, and more that I just want to be able to share with people the things that bring me joy. By sharing the stuff that I enjoy with these people, and they seem to enjoy it, they learn to enjoy it as well, I not only broaden their horizons, but I also get to talk about something that I really, really like. So it's kind of a win-win, you know?
Orange. No, the orange wasn't enough.
The orange wasn't enough. You tried. You tried so hard. And I believed in you, too.
Damn. Baby Daisy, once again.
Baby Daisy's
triumphing.
beating your ass.
Well, I would not go so far as to say beating my ass. She's like
I'm an
2
8,
points
so
ahead.
I really had nothing to say there.
So, Gadda.
Yeah?
We got to learn a lot about you today.
Thank you.
If my subjects are interested, where can they go to learn more about you?
They can follow me on Twitch. I'm Farmer Gadda on Twitch. They can follow me on Twitter at FarmerGadda. They can find me on TikTok. I'm Farmer Gadda. They can find me on itch.io, where I publish all of my role-playing games. Oh, I'm on Tumblr now. That's right. I'm Farmer Gadda on Tumblr as well, and I've actually been really enjoying that. And if you found me through Raglan's video, please let me know. Whoops, I went off the track.
Heck. Oh no, I got hit by red shell and immediately a blue shell.
Oh no!
Thankfully, so did Wario. Get wrecked, Wario. Oh god, Wario has a red shell.
Oh no.
Oh, but we got hit by lightning. I might have more coins. No,
I had a star the millisecond the lightning came down. The box stopped rotating and it said star, and then I got zapped. Like,
oh,
no.
That's so sad. Well, to round it out, going into the final race, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
No. Goodbye, everyone.
No!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Actually, I have a couple of questions for you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about game design specifically.
Hello, welcome to not the end of the video just yet. It's very close, to be honest, but it's not the end of the video. I actually had a lot to say to this question, and we actually went on for an extra, like, I don't know, 20 minutes after this talking about game design stuff. So if you are this far into the video and you are interested in hearing what I have to say and seeing, and I guess not seeing, kind of seeing and hearing the full 1 hour and 40-minute uncut interview that I had with Gadda, where we talked more about the internet and game design and stuff, I would really appreciate it, and don't feel pressured, but I would appreciate it if you checked in the description and joined my Ko-fi membership, only if you have the means to. As a Royal Subject. As a Royal Subject member on Ko-fi, you get access to all the uncut videos, the interviews, the tipsy tiers. You also get sneak peeks. You get access to the Sneak Peeks Discord. You get access to Royal Subjects Night in the Discord, which is it's a monthly hangout session where I buy a movie for us to watch, and we watch it. Sometimes I feel like watching more than one movie, so I buy more than one movie for us to watch. But yeah, don't feel pressured. If you don't have the means, then obviously don't. But if you do have the means and you want to support me in what I'm doing here, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a fantastic day. And here is the end of the video. Bye. And that wraps up our interview. Thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed myself. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Pew, pew, pew.